guys, what do you say? Hit the like button, let everybody know. We are live.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Where you going?
Nowhere.
All right, what do you say we pop right into it? Let's not waste any time. What's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Thank you to everybody on this space who's watching as well. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button on both platforms. I really appreciate it. Anybody who's dared to contribute financially, many ways to do so. Venmo up in the corner. Become a channel member just underneath me. Patreon.com/Boston Bryant. That's all of the nonsense out of the way. How's everybody doing? What do you say we get into the chat? Let's let everybody filter in. Let everybody know that we're live. Let's start thanking some people for being here. Rosanna, how are you? Yakov, how are you? What's going on, guys? What's up, Debbie? How's everybody doing? What's up, T. Freeman? What's up, Progressively Independent? Nordez, Roxanne, how's everybody doing? I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a wild couple days. We're going to be discussing more lies from not only the White House, but from the press secretary about the Epstein birthday letters, the massively large scale provocation by Russia, Poland invoking Article 4, which, you know, we might have to explain the difference between Article 4 and Article 5. I think, I've been seeing a lot of people freaking out about what it means when Poland invokes Article 4. So I guess we'll have to discuss that a little bit. DeCarlos Brown Jr. has been charged with causing death on a mass transportation in the brutal murder of Irina Zerutska in Charlotte. That is the Ukrainian refugee that was brutally murdered on the bus there. James Comer says he's not going to investigate, and the Oversight Committee is not going to investigate Donald Trump in his involvement with the letters with Jeffrey Epstein, saying that he's just going to take his word for it. We got a lot to get into. We'll be checking out, the Poland's response, the FAA response, the flight tracker that shows where the drones came from, where they went. We'll be looking at a few different news clips, news stories about the situation. Lots to get into, actually. Lots to get into. So don't waste any time. Make sure you hit that like button. What else are we going to be talking about? CNN had that ridiculously bizarre defense of Donald Trump as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein as well. Like I said, Poland's statement, a map of the drone attacks. We'll be covering it all. So make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate it. Share the show out to everybody that you possibly can share the show out to, because we're just here to call out the bullshit, the propaganda, the lies of the mainstream media, the Republican Party, Donald Trump, and breaking it down for everyday working class, normal individuals like you and like me, because that's who's affected by these policies and that's who's left to deal with this bullshit at the end of the day. So I appreciate you guys staying involved. What's up, El Rondo? What's up, Bob? What's up, Mr. Android? Hey, Susie. Thank you so much, guys, for filtering in. I really do appreciate it. What's up, Gamer? Vicky, how's everybody doing? What's up, VD? Good to see you as well over there. Good to see you as well. Nice to see everybody making the rounds on the old social medias, trying to stay informed. Thank you, Noah Dez, starting it off in the right way as usual. You guys too can either sign up yourselves for a membership or gift memberships, just like Nordez does every single show. And make sure you're thanking Nordez if you're in the chat, getting one of those gifted memberships, because the YouTube memberships and the Patreon community are absolutely the backbone of Blunt Politics and what keeps this show running. So I appreciate all of the Patreons, all of the YouTube channel members, and again, anybody that shouts out through the chat here with a super sticker, with the super chat, or anything like that. Really goes a long way. So thank you so much. What do you say we get into the first little bit of lies that I wanted to get into? Again, it's amazing to me that with all the evidence that we've seen, with the signature verifications, with the comparisons from Donald Trump's signatures from 2003 to 1987 to 1997 and everywhere in between, from letters to Bill Clinton, letters to Alan Dershowitz, letters to Rudy Giuliani, every single one of them seems to match exactly to Donald Trump's signature. as it relates to, his letter with the outline of the female. And as we pointed out on the show yesterday, what doesn't seem to be an overly developed female, if you catch my drift, in the picture, again, with Donald Trump's signature seemingly in the position of where the crotch or the pubic hair would be, is what people are pointing out. But again, here's the White House press secretary, again, whose job is pretty much to get up and lie to our faces every single day when you're working for Donald Trump. I guess just doing her job in this, if you put it that way, doing her job. But here she is being questioned outright about his signature, about his involvement, about the letter. And again, the White House and the press secretary just continues to double down on Donald Trump didn't write this. He has no involvement. They're suing, and there's going to be a lot of litigation is basically all they have to say in this. And it's remarkable to me that they still think that they can get away with this, especially to people on their own side, especially to people in their own base. Like, at what point does the base step out and be like, all right, they think I'm pretty fucking stupid. Like, they must think I am absolutely fucking blind and moronic at this point. Like, to actually, like, I'm seeing what I'm seeing. There was a check, and we went over it yesterday when we talked about, hey, I think I still have it up. Remember this, guys? Remember this? We were talking about it yesterday, and thank you to everybody that watches the show all the time. But if you don't, we were talking about this. We were going over this Twitter thread here from Adam Cochran, who pretty much went through, kind of glanced over the files, what was released as far as the birthday letters were concerned, and kind of gave us the lowlights, I called them. And I said, in this picture here, I said, that looks awfully similar to Mar-a-Lago, right? And I said, I'm not sure if that's Jeffrey Epstein's home in Palm Beach or if that's Mar-a-Lago. But if it turns out to be Mar-a-Lago, I think that's a big fucking deal. Because as you got, what looks to be young women, young girls, massaging Jeffrey Epstein in a lounge chair, one of them being tattooed with J.E. on the backside, in front of a picture of Mar-a-Lago, while a jet, Jeffrey Epstein's jet, flies over that, I think it's very telling as to what not only everybody knew. Again, that was another revelation from these disgusting things, is just to the extent of how much everybody knew exactly what Jeffrey Epstein was up to, exactly what he and Ghislaine Maxwell were engaged in. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was no guessing games. There was no maybes or, I've heard this on the grapevine. Nothing. People knew. You can tell by the coded language. You can tell by the jets, the girls being drawn, the massaging, the lewd photographs. This was not a fucking secret, right? And if it was the world's most open secret. So again, it just goes to show exactly to the people who were closest to Jeffrey Epstein for the longest, like people like Donald Trump, exactly what they should have known and had to have known and absolutely did know. And I apologize for the fucking V12 weed whacker I got located like smack dab outside my window at this time. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. Hopefully the noise cancellation is doing its job, but I don't know who gets a V12 fucking weed whacker, but this gentleman apparently has one. But yes, I think there has been new revelation here. The creepy picture of Epstein grooming girls to get massages is not Epstein's house on the island. It's the Mar-a-Lago. It's the Mar-a-Lago as seen from the beach. Whoever drew this, who was drawing Epstein getting massages by girls he groomed while on Trump's property. Right? So this is, this goes deeper than just, okay, Jeffrey Epstein came to poach, underage girls illegally working at the spa at Mar-a-Lago, without my knowledge. And I had to be, told by several employees of my, of Mar-a-Lago that it was happening. This is a lot different. This is somebody that actively knows what's taking place at Mar-a-Lago and actively inferring the relationship, the connection between the illegalities that Jeffrey Epstein and others were engaged in and the places, the actual physical location that it was taking place at sometimes, right? Sometimes it was the plane, right? That's why they get the plane. Sometimes it was on the plane. Sometimes it was on the island. Sometimes it was at Mar-a-Lago. And then just to recap just how sick all of this is, you got what looks to be an elderly gentleman, a clearly older gentleman with what seems to be tattered jeans. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Giving a lollipop and balloons to what is clearly extremely young girls. So, again, something we pointed out on yesterday's show, and I just kind of commented, if that was Mar-a-Lago, I think that's a pretty big revelation. And I think it goes a long way to show whoever was drawing this, whoever was, making this, knew exactly what the fuck was going on and where it was taking place. Right. But again, here's Caroline Leavitt, having dove into that. Here's Caroline Leavitt actively lying through her teeth to the U.S. citizens, to the U.S. citizenry, again, about this situation. Let's check it out.
Caroline, thank you. I want to follow up on something you said. You said the Epstein documents are a hoax that Democrats are perpetrating against the president. You said he didn't sign that check, that he didn't sign the birthday card that he allegedly signed. So what is the theory, since these documents came from the Epstein estate? Who is
And that's a great point, too, ladies and gentlemen. That is a great point, and I think something that the Trump administration and Caroline Leavitt are going to have to contend with, and I think it's going to be very difficult for them to contend with. The fact that this wasn't released by a Democratic committee. This wasn't released by some Democratic establishment or, some fucking Democrat politician. This was released by the Epstein Foundation, by the people that are now in charge of the estate, right? The people that are now, I believe, excuse me, I apologize if I'm wrong in this, but I believe they're representing the victims in this case, right? If I'm wrong, point me out, correct me in the chat. I'd like to get that right, but I believe that's what's going on, and that's the reason why these were being released. But again, you can't say this is coming from the other side of the aisle. You can't say this is a political attack. You can't say, it takes away a lot of their bullshit talking points and rhetoric that they would normally use if this was coming from some subcommittee, some oversight committee, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they're really struggling right now to contend with the fact that this was released by the Epstein estate. Sorry, I'm just kind of glancing through the chat to make sure I have that right. I want to make sure I have that that fact right. If not, I will absolutely correct myself. But, I think because a lot of people are going to be like, well, why would the Epstein estate release these? Because there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's not, it's not exactly what you think is going on. So, but again, not to stray off topic, this is very hard for the Trump administration, the Trump regime, and Caroline Leavitt to contend with. And you hear it in these questions, like where is the political motivation to lie about the president coming from? The people that are now in control of this estate, right? Like why it doesn't seem to be politically motivated. It seems to be more evidence related and wanting to get to accountability and justice and the answers to all of this.
Yes, in your view, faking these documents?
I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax that is being.
Okay, so now explain to me how that's different. Because what people are doing, seemingly, are either reading documents, reading old articles, reading old deposition reports or old interviews, right? We're not like making this shit up off the fucking top of our heads here. So it's either she tries to lead off there by saying it's not the documents that are a hoax. It's whatever the Democrats are saying is a hoax. Well, the Democrats, as you call them, or as everybody on the right would like to say, we're just reciting the already known evidence that is publicly known and widespread. Right? We're not making this up in a back room with fucking Chuck Schumer and fucking Nancy Pelosi with a side hint to Hillary Clinton while Bill comes in and gives his 2 cents, while we got Bernie Sanders on the phone trying to, chime in with a few paragraphs that he wants to write in there. This ain't, we're literally going by the facts that we know, what's been reported, what's been fucking detailed in past, lawsuits, right? Depositions, interviews, that type of thing. So to say that, well, the documents aren't a hoax, but everybody that's talking about the documents, that's the hoax, makes absolutely no sense. I know that you guys know that. I know that you guys are all smart enough to know that. I know everybody on this space is smart enough to know that. But anybody that may be new to either Blunt Politics or this space or, a progressive media here that's coming over from the other side, welcome to reality and welcome to the fact that you can't have it both ways, right? You can't have the fucking cake and eat it too. You can't have the oil and the water in the same place trying to mix. It ain't going to happen.
Perpetuated by opportunistic Democrats like Ro Khanna and the others whom you saw on that press conference.
Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Who was somebody else that you saw at that press conference with Ro Khanna, with Massey, right? Who was one of the other prominent individuals also featured at that press conference? So are we now to say that Marjorie Taylor Greene is now wrapped up in fucking fucking nose deep inside of a Democrat hoax, inside of a Democrat conspiracy to somehow put Donald Trump in the same relationship or in the same breath as Jeffrey Epstein. Like somehow now you're putting Marjorie Taylor Greene in with Ro Khanna in with this bullshit. Now she somehow, again, and I'm not giving any fucking flowers to Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene. She's obviously got her motives and her reasons for doing whatever she's doing. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to play upon and prey upon the fucking cracks that are now forming between people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Caroline Leavitt, the MAGA base, whether it be over the genocide that Israel is continuing to perpetrate upon the Palestinian people, whether it's fucking what's going on inside of the United States with our domestic policies with ICE and the National Guard. Like, I will absolutely continue to prey upon the cracks that are forming for whatever reasons that they're forming, whether it be Epstein or whatever the fuck, and use that to my political benefit, use that to my benefit in order to get the correct people elected, in order to get Democrats back in office, and in order to, see accountability, see these people face accountability and justice. So the two-headed dragon that these people are now dealing with also involves people that they would call staunchly MAGA on the other side of that for the first time, I think, seriously, in a long, long time.
Capitol Hill, who are trying to push this hoax against the president of the United States.
What exactly is the hoax? I'm just trying to understand what's fake. What's fake is not the documents.
The hoax is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing.
Right. You mean kind of like, I don't know, let's just say the Republican Party claiming to be the party of, I don't know, both fiscal responsibility and also the party that wants to, I don't know, protect children, stop child sex trafficking. But every fucking time you open your eyes in the morning and wake up and open your social media accounts, there's another fucking Republican seemingly that's been arrested for having child porn on his home computer in some way related to a church sex scandal or something of a like. It's funny how that happens. Now, I'm not saying it hasn't taken place on both sides, but I'd say the overwhelming majority of cases that you're going to find involving high-profile politicians and representatives engaged in or found to be guilty of having child porn or engaged in pedophilia or something like that is going to be a fucking a guy, a white male with an R next to his name, not a D. Okay, so again. You want to talk about fucking hypocrisy? Again, we could talk about the fact that you call yourself fiscally responsible, and look at what you're doing to our economy when it pertains to tariffs, inflation, low job growth, stagnant wages. I mean, the list continues to grow as far as the way you're screwing up our economy. So clearly not fiscally responsible, spending $200 million on a fucking ballroom. The money you spent trying to paint the wall down the fucking South black. Like, what are we doing here, folks? And that's just, again, a fraction, a small snippet of some of the wasteful spending, the amount they're wasting on ICE, the National Guard, the amount they're going to increase the budget for both, Homeland Security and agencies like that. There's to think of what we could do with those resources, with those funds, if we were to put those into, I don't know, more socially beneficial activities or policies. But again, I don't have a ton of time, so I'm trying to get through as much as I can before I get off into too many fucking rants here. But let's see what else she has to say.
Thing to solve crimes when they have done nothing to lock up child pedophiles and child rapists across the country, and when they are now using victims as political props to try and, again, smear the president of the United States. Now, again, to point out the utter and ridiculous nature of the hypocrisy here, and talking about using people as political props. Anybody that's been on social media the last few days has seen the right wing try to use the death, the brutal and unfortunate death of the Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zeritska, in Charlotte to their benefit, to their political benefit, when they in absolutely no way, shape, or form give a flying fuck about a single Ukrainian citizen. The same people that have been saying, no, I don't want to send any more money over there. No, I'm not helping them. No, I'm not sending any more weapons. Yes, let's back Vladimir Putin. Yes, I like the way Russia does things. Yes, I like how they hate gay people. Let's do it more like them. Those motherfuckers are now trying to get you to believe that they care about Ukrainian fucking refugees in the United States and aren't just using the fact that it was a black man killing a Ukrainian refugee, that they can use that for political expediency.
Like, get fucked, honestly. If you think you're going to fucking hold one over my head, and like I said, glad to see that the gentleman DeCarlos Brown Jr. was charged with causing death on mass transportation. And again, hopefully we'll face the full force of the law. Should have never been on the fucking streets to begin with. And hopefully we get that fucking settled. But again, I am absolutely not going to be shamed by people that have been advocating for the total abandonment of the entire fucking country of Ukraine since this full-scale invasion started, and even before that. And if you think you're going to fucking hold that over my head, like for some reason I don't care, you can fucking pound sand on that one, all right? There was a few more clips from this. I don't want to take up too much time with every single one of her lies here, but there was a few clips here. I know Asen posted a few. Let's see if we can fly through a few of these clips, and then we'll head on to the story, obviously, that everybody's talking about, the mass provocation by Russia, where they sent as many as 19 or more drones and missiles into Polish airspace, and we'll be talking about that. It's crazy to see that two of the airports that I used myself on my trip to Ukraine, on my recent trip to Kyiv, the Rzeszów airport in Poland and the Warsaw airport, obviously in Poland, were both closed. Like I said, I have the FAA statement that went out. I have the response from NATO. We have a few clips from CNN, BBC that I want to take a look at if we can squeeze it in. We'll also, like I said, be taking a look at this unbelievable friggin' graphic here, which details every single one of the Russian drone and missile launches, where they came from, where they went. You can see over here on the left-hand side of your screen. And again, I'll make it bigger when we go over this, exactly where they entered Polish airspace and why, the closings that we saw in the invocation of Article 4 has been, undertaken by Poland. Oh, thank you, fucking Peter. Let's go, brother. Let's go, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, dude, for your super sticker. Thank you so much for your contributions, your loyalty, your passion, your aggression, your support for Ukraine, your support for democracy, your support for women's rights, the LGBTQIA community, trans community, all of it, Peter. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. It goes a long way to a long way to it goes a long way. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into just a few of these ridiculous clips. Here is, again, something else that I called yesterday in the show. I told you when we were talking about, the Israeli strike in Doha, in Qatar, the illegal assassination attempt that killed, I believe, a Qatari police officer and injured a few security officers. And let just sink in what would happen if somebody, again, illegally launched a missile strike, a drone strike inside the United States that killed a United States police officer and injured, say, I don't know, 2 military personnel, what the response would be from not only the citizenry, but also from the government and the military. So, that just gives you a little sense of what the Qataris are dealing with their response here. But again, to actively try to assassinate and eliminate the people you're supposedly, engaged in active negotiations, talks with, is again not, in my mind, the best way to go about a negotiation, especially breaking international law, the rules of war, but again, when you're an internationally wanted criminal like Benjamin Netanyahu, what the fuck's another warrant? It doesn't really matter. But all right, let's see if we can take a look at this. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, dude. And again, as I always do, if you send in a super chat, super sticker, and I miss it in the chat, I go over all of them at the end of the show. We got a hard out at 11 because of this space. We'll dive over to Jeff Waldorf. But after that, if you stick around, we'll be sure to thank everybody that sent in a super sticker, super chat, Venmo, anything like that gets recognized, gets highlighted, because you guys, again, are the backbone of this show and the reason that we continue to be able to do this. So thank you very, very much, Peter, Jeff, for being here for 12 months, and everybody else that sends in or contributes in any way, shape, or form. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's see what he's saying here. Again, sorry, I got distracted. As I called yesterday, we're talking about the Israeli airstrikes, right? Talking about the assassinations and the strikes in Doha, Qatar. I said that the response would be so mealy-mouthed from Donald Trump, by Donald Trump, that he would probably treat it just as he does when Russia kills, I don't know, multiple civilians in and around Ukraine every single night, where he says he's not happy about it, he's not thrilled about it, he's kind of upset about it. That's what I said he was going to say. Let's see what he actually says, and so let's see how right I was. Let me see. I'll start it from the beginning here. Let me see. Start it from the start and see what he says. Yeah.
We have a capital that's very, very safe right now.
About the Israeli strike earlier today.
Well, I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled.
Sorry if it's too hard to hear, and I know sometimes Twitter sucks with their audio. But the question is his feelings on the Israeli airstrike. And again, right off the bat, it sounds like he's going to say he's not happy, and again, do absolutely nothing about it.
I don't have to do that. I'm not thrilled about the whole situation. It's not a good situation. But
now, does this seem like somebody that's actively in control of the situation, actively in control of the players that are now participating in this event or in this situation, right? Does this now seem like somebody that's in control of Vladimir Putin, who just met with Xi Jinping, who just met with Modi, who just met with Kim Jong-un, right? Smiling, laughing, shaking fucking hands. Does it sound like he's in control of Benjamin Netanyahu, right? Luring him into striking Iranian nuclear facilities, allowing him to continuously, illegally undertake missile strikes in a country that's trying to mediate the fucking situation right now. Whether or not you think they're doing a good job or a piss poor job, again, that's at least the role that they're, forwardly facing, trying to undertake right now, is trying to mediate between the two countries, while Israel is actively lobbing missiles into what seemingly was residential fucking areas, again, killing a Qatari police officer, injuring a couple of security officers, as it was reported, right? So does this sound like somebody that could step in, like he said, it was going to waltz into this office and immediately take control of the situation? Now, does this seem like somebody that was just responsible for ending 6, 7, 8, 10 wars that we've already debunked on this show? No. And look at Pete fucking Kegsef behind him too. That's not giving me any positive vibes. That's not lending any credibility to whatever Donald Trump is saying. And even JD Vance's face is like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're unhappy. Like, I think you're going to have to do and say a little bit more. I think we're going to have to gain a little bit more control over the situation, so Israel doesn't feel like they have free reign to strike any fucking country on earth for whatever reason, as long as they can say somebody connection with some sort of connection with Hamas is in that territory, right? Regardless of who they kill, regardless of the collateral damage, regardless of what that fucking leads to in the future, right? Now, we've heard the response from Qatar. They're extremely upset about it. We've heard the lies from the from the White House saying that everybody was notified, everybody was up to date, and Qatar was like, hell fucking no. You fucking kidding me? We got a phone call literally as the bombs are going off. I don't think that's how it's supposed to fucking work. A prior notice usually means prior to you bombing my ass, right? Prior to you killing my civilians. So this isn't somebody that's in control, not only of himself, but of the Israel-Palestine situation, the Russia-Ukraine situation, any of the other fucking wars that he's been talking about that he threw a coat of paint on real quick so he could slap a headline out there to say he stopped the war, which again, if you need to, go back and check out a few shows ago where we actually and actively debunked every single one of the wars he says he ended and why they have absolutely not been ended. And there are still absolutely areas of violence going on, areas of conflict, areas of negotiations that are seemingly never going to be agreed upon that will lead to more conflict in the future. So you name it, and this motherfucker is not in control of it. Okay?
I will say this. We want the hostages back, but we are not thrilled about the way that went down today.
Unbelievable. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? What do you plan to do with your infinite wisdom? With your what's he say? His fucking, I think I got it here, right? His stupid fucking brain. What's he say?
China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
All right, so why don't you get them tiny ass hands out of your pants, right? And start using that ginormous brain of yours to come up with a solution to curtail what Benjamin Netanyahu and his fucking genocidal regime over there in the Israeli government continues to perpetrate, not only against the Palestinian people, but apparently the fucking globe now. Lying to our faces. And again, that double tap on the Nasser hospital wasn't a double tap. It was more like a fucking quadruple tap, where they made damn sure on the second strike that they put in enough missiles that it was going to cause even more damage than the first one that drew the attention to the hospital in the first place, that brought the aid workers, that brought the people sifting through the rubble. And then the lies they told about the fucking Hamas camera that was supposedly at the top, even though I believe, if again, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, it was an Al Jazeera camera that Israel, the IDF, had already been pre-notified of its location, but used that as justification to, again, strike the hospital. A hospital that, again, Israel and everybody else has been telling us they don't strike. They don't strike schools. They don't strike hospitals. They don't strike nurseries. Unless, I guess, there's, fucking tens and hundreds of innocent people roaming around and actively on top of the premises. And then we can send in 4 more missiles and kill those people. Journalists, again, aid workers, people showing up to fucking help. Again, all right, so let's see here. This is where he goes on to be questioned about the Epstein letters here, where I'm sure he's going to continue lying, ladies and gentlemen. Unless one of these days he's just going to get so sick and tired of it. He's going to be like, all right, I wrote it. I fucking wrote it. I did it all. I'm sick of it. I'm the president. I should be able to. All right, let's see how much he lies here.
We have a capital that's very, very safe.
My apologies. Hold on. My apologies. I should probably get the right one on screen if I'm going to show you that. Typically helps. Let's see. Is it this one?
Thank you. Enjoy it.
You signed Jeffrey Epstein birthday letter.
It's not my signature, and it's not.
Sorry, I know it's very quiet as far as the reporter's audio, but he's being questioned about his signature on the Epstein letter.
And anybody that's covered me for a long time, no, that's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time. All you do is trying to get off the great success of DC and about 200 other things we've done that is.
So again, not his signature, not his words, not his rhetoric, never did it, never signed it, doesn't know what he's talking about. I'd love for him to be questioned again directly. I don't know if he is in this encounter about the 22. Let me see if I can find it in Adam's reporting here. About the $22,500 check that is being held up by these fucking sick, disgusting, degenerate, fucking rich pricks with Donald Trump's, what is seemingly Donald Trump's name. I wouldn't call it a signature. Let me see if I can find this. My apologies. Let me share this tab so you guys can kind of flip through it with me. We went through a bunch of this yesterday on the show in case anybody hasn't had the time or the inclination to go through it. I did go through a lot of what Adam had to say here. Where was the check? Hey, let me see if I can just find it real quick. Trump check 22K. Bum. No, that's not it. That's not it. Trump Epstein check. 22K. Let's see if that. Oh, here it is. Here she blows. Let me see if I can pull it up in a better way for you guys. Share this tab instead. So this picture here, how do you make this bigger? Can I zoom in on this? No? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Because it's a video. Anyway, this one that I'm pointing at here on the right that you've seen going viral here, the check to Jeffrey Epstein for $22,500. On the bottom right-hand side, it says DJ Trump. Again, whether written by him or by any one of these disgusting, degenerate motherfuckers, supposedly in a joking manner or whatever, it just does show the relationship and the involvement of Donald Trump, right? Again, he says, oh, you can tell, and Caroline Levitt says you can tell that's not his signature. I don't think anybody's claiming that that's Donald Trump's, signature on that, but it's clearly Donald J. Trump. It's clearly DJ Trump, right? with Jeffrey Epstein holding it up, clearly says $22,500, and it's clearly for a depreciated woman. Clearly here, as you can see, blacked out, is clearly a woman, a girl. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's been released yet. But yeah, you can see that it is, and again, the whole rhetoric surrounding that, where it calls it a depreciated woman. Here it is right here. I'll pull this up. Jeffrey showing early talents with money and women sells fully depreciated in quotes to Donald Trump for $22,500. Showed early quote people skills. Let's see, it's a little small. Even though I handled the deal, I didn't get any of the money or the girl. Now again, whether or not Donald Trump literally wrote his name on that check, or again, Jeffrey Epstein wrote his name on that check to be funny, or somebody else wrote DJ Trump on that for Donald Trump, or whatever the hell, it definitely shows Donald Trump's involvement, especially in a picture where somebody, and to my knowledge, if the person is their face is blurred out or their name is blurred out, typically means that they're underage, right? They're an underage victim in this case. I'm sure there's probably a couple other things that it could mean, but, again, knowing that 1,000 FBI agents went through this and redacted Donald Trump's name in every fucking instance they could find only leads us to ask more questions when we see things that are redacted, when we see things that are blanked out, right? Why? Was this done by the FBI agents in order to protect Donald Trump for some reason? Is that something that could help Donald Trump? There was one where it was like, a letter from two people, both names were blacked out, talking about two girls that were 17 kissing in the back of my daddy's caddy, right? And then we know that Donald Trump was routinely chauffeured around in the back of a Cadillac. So, I mean, the fucking points all connect here. The dots all connect. All we need now is, again, these little black lines to be taken away and for these names to be revealed. Donald Trump's true involvement to be revealed. Everybody's true involvement to be revealed. And then we could go and talk about, but the fact that he's saying that it's a waste of time to the reporter, the fact that he's saying, that you've covered me for a long time and should know that's not my language, I beg to differ. I think you were the one that was saying that you could grab women by the pussy if they didn't, even if they didn't give you consent, because you're a star and they were, they allowed you to. We have that on tape. That's you saying it. So we know what your rhetoric is like. We know what your fucking nasty nature is like. So again, nothing that we couldn't see you engaged in. A couple more goes on. That's again him saying he's not thrilled with the Israeli airstrike. Let me see what this one is. This is again about the Epstein victims. Let's see what this one is. Oh, okay. Yep. This is a really telling moment here, ladies and gentlemen. Really telling moment, ladies and gentlemen. If you only pay attention to a few minutes of my show, I hope it's this, where he's actively questioned by the reporter here. I believe she says, have you or will you meet with the Epstein victims? And Donald Trump says, nobody suggested it. He hasn't even remotely even thought about it. Now, let's just say the biggest story in the fucking country right now is one that is potentially in relation with the president of the United States' best friend for over 20 years, actively engaged in one of, if not the largest ring of sex trafficking and pedophilia in this nation's history. And your involvement with that. And he expects us to, just brush it under the rug? But here, I want you to pay attention to the fact that even if what Donald Trump has been saying is true, which I know it's not, wouldn't a normal human being have empathy, compassion, and respect for the victims and want to bring them in, want to hear their answers, want to hear the people that were involved so they could actively seek and tell the DOJ and FBI to get on the fucking case here of these people? Wouldn't that be something that the president of the United States should be doing? Now, listen to Donald Trump's response here. Let me see if I'll start it over.
I don't know.
Will you meet with the Epstein victims? Do you plan to meet with?
I don't know about. Nobody suggested that. Certainly, I don't like that whole situation with respect to anybody being abused or hurt. But I haven't even thought about that. Thank you all very much.
I haven't even thought about that. Now, if that doesn't show you right there, take everything out of the picture that we know about this guy. If that right there doesn't show you how fucking cold, callous, disgusting, degenerate, corrupted, egomaniacal, self-absorbed, psychotic, sociopathic this degenerate fool is, then I don't know where else to point you. I don't know where else to point you than the president of the United States saying he hasn't even remotely thought about bringing the victims of one of the most high-profile fucking cases of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, and pedophilia in this nation's history, involving some of the most high-profile people on the planet. And Donald Trump, the president of the United States, hasn't even once thought, nor has it been suggested by anybody in his team, to meet with the victims. Now, I'd love to know. Actually, that's a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this, because if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she asked Donald Trump if he would meet with the victims, and she didn't receive an answer. Let me see here if I can find this real quick. Asks Trump, fuck, I'm typing like I need it, to meet with Epstein. Can anybody find that clip for me? I don't think I'm tripping. I think I'm remembering that correctly. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she will read the names. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene joins Epstein survivors. Colin, clearly looking to it. I think it was in like a post, like one of her post press conferences that she was doing after that. Is it this one? 6 days ago? Let me see. Is it this one? Let me see. I'm going to put this on the screen. Not sure if this is it. But that's a fucking blatant lie. If either Marjorie Taylor Greene's lying or Donald Trump's lying. Let me see what she says here.
And I just think they absolutely deserve everyone's help. And so that's why I'm going to give it my all on the oversight investigation. We'll be looking through FinCEN. We'll be looking through bank records, just as Brad talked about. We will be following the money. But I think this one is equally as important. There shouldn't be one above the other. And so that's why I'm honored to be part of it.
Do you think there's still a question for
Sorry, I know I can't go through this whole thing, but I believe I fought hard for the president. Let me see if this is it.
Now. And that person has their job because I fought so hard to help him get elected. And this isn't a hostile act now. Name is in the messages. I really like to call guy.
Discharge petition will be a hostile act. As you heard from these White House officials, they're putting out word that signing on to this discharge petition will be a hostile
without saying their name now. And that person towards the administration.
Sorry, excuse me.
Covering up for Jeffrey Epstein. I look forward to talking with President Trump about these women that I've met. I also encouraged him already this morning that he should have these women in the Oval Office.
There you go, right there. There you go, right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. Marjorie Taylor Greene said she encouraged the president this morning. This was 6 days ago. Encouraged the president to meet with the victims, September 3rd, 2025. And let's just hear one more time from Donald Trump, the president, a blatant lie that nobody's even suggested that he meet with the victims. Here, one more time.
Certainly, I don't like that whole situation with respect to anybody being abused or hurt, but I haven't even thought about that. Thank you all very much. Have a good time.
Haven't even thought about that, nor has anybody presented that as an idea, he says, right? Am I mistaken?
Certainly, I don't like that whole situation.
Let me see. Let me go back.
I don't know about, nobody suggested that.
Nobody suggested that. Nobody suggested that, huh? Let's see here. So again, either Marjorie Taylor Greene is lying or Donald Trump is lying. Because check this out. She says right here, I also encouraged him.
Look forward to talking with President Trump about these women that I've met. I also encouraged him already this morning that he should have these women in the Oval Office. They deserve to be there.
You spoke to him?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I told him I'd be happy to set that up, arranging with their attorney.
Should he even set it up?
What was his reaction back?
I haven't gotten an answer back on that, but I am continuing to encourage him.
Well, so you've been stonewalled. You've been fucking ghosted, huh? Crickets is what you heard in response to that. That's funny because Marge, apparently you didn't tell him shit, or apparently your messages aren't getting to the president, because apparently the president has never once heard anybody suggest that he should meet with these victims. And again, Marjorie Taylor Greene saying right here, she would have fucking set it up, should help, procure, should help get these people all in one place, should help get them in the Oval Office. All Donald Trump had to do was say yes, or all Donald Trump's team had to do was say yes. And again, here he is lying blatantly to the country, blatantly to your face, to my face, to the reporter's face, saying that nobody's ever suggested this. Again, who's lying in this situation?
I don't like that whole situation.
All right, let's see what else we can cover. I know I'm rapidly running out of time. I don't know if we're going to get to. All right, because I'm running out of time, I apologize. I would advise you to check out anything, posted on this situation. But let me see if we can get into this crazy story of the Russian drones entering NATO and Poland airspace. Let me see. I'm probably going to have to cut down one of these things that we're going to watch, but well, I guess it's that one. But I guess we could probably do, I think Arthur, no, let's do, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out. Let's do this one. I'll show you this one. Kind of gives you good information right off the bat, and then we can get into a little bit more coverage from a few different creators. So what do you say? Hit that like button. Again, we're covering Russia's clear act of aggression, launching at least 19 drones or missiles into NATO airspace, into Polish airspace, again, closing down at least 2 of the airports that I was just recently at on my trip to Ukraine, both the Warsaw airport and the Rzeszów airport, both very vital, especially the Rzeszów airport. Is and continues to be very vital in getting people and equipment in and out of Ukraine. So here, let's see what CNN had to say about this. And then I guess we can bash on CNN if I get enough time after this. I might even stay on for a couple minutes after we toss it to Jeff, because there's a ridiculous clip here of CNN doing some clear obfuscation and defending of Donald Trump as it pertains to the Epstein letter. So what do you say? We'll dive into this real quick and then see how much time it leaves us.
Breaking news out of Poland. The military there accusing Moscow of an act of aggression after Polish and NATO forces scrambled to shoot down Russian drones that violated its airspace. Prime Minister Donald Tusk has confirmed a military response operation is underway following multiple.
Attention, during today's attacks by the Russian Federation, carrying out strikes on targets located in Ukraine, our airspaces were repeatedly violated by drone-type objects. An operation is underway to identify and neutralize these objects on the orders of the operational commander of the Polish Armed Forces. Weaponry has been deployed, and services are actively working to locate the downed objects. We stress that the military operation is ongoing, and we urge people to remain at home. The most effective areas are Podolsk, Mazowiecki, and Lubletsky provinces. I cannot read the bottom of that. My apologies.
Airspace violations. Polish and NATO jets were scrambled following reports from Ukraine's Air Force that Russian drones were headed towards the country's airspace. During the incident, Polish authorities
now,
shut
and
down
I'll go to show you on this because, again, as I was showing you earlier, this is a remarkable graphic. Let me see if I can put this on the screen for you guys. Make this a little bigger. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it just a little bit. All right, so this is the Monitor War graphic here showing the flight paths of the attacks here. Russia's drone and missile attack on Ukraine and Poland tonight from Ukrainian monitors. Again, this also shows this is what we're going to show the border of Ukraine and Poland, and you can obviously see clear signs of missiles entering Polish airspace. Let's see here. If you go to see, I had this pulled up for you guys as well. Let me see here. The session is timed out. What does that mean? Can I go back to it? Yeah, you can. So I'm going to share this instead. So this is the Flight Radar 24 that a lot of people were taking a look at. Let's see here if we can find. So here's the Warsaw airport that we were talking about. If you looked at it yesterday, you could see the clear flight paths of military aircraft doing what they were supposed to be doing, circling the airport. I know when I was at these airports, they had Patriot missiles and air defense systems lining the runways. If we go further south here, I believe it takes us into the Lublin airport, which was also closed. Lublin right here, which was also temporarily closed. Right, and then I believe a little bit further south will be the Rzeszów airport. Let me see if I can find that now. Christ. So there's Lublin, Warsaw, Lviv. So it's going to be, oh, here it is right here. So here's Zhezhev. I know it doesn't sound like it's pronounced like that, but that is how it's pronounced. Again, this is the nearest one, I believe, to the Ukrainian border being right here. So here's Zhezhev, here's Lviv. So we took a train from Zhezhev to Lviv in my trip. It was the easiest and most direct route. A lot of people have used that route to get both in and out of Ukraine. So to shut that down, to shut down the Lublin airport, to shut down the Warsaw airport is a big friggin' deal. Let me see. I think I have the actual. Let me go back to this because, again, this graphic just goes to show the amount of activity, right? The amount of let's just say the disrespect that Vladimir Putin and Russia continues to show the United States, continues to show Donald Trump, right? Does this look like, again, Donald Trump has the situation under control? Does this look like Donald Trump has Vladimir Putin in a submissive state, ready to engage in peace talks, in negotiations? Or does this look like, again, things continue to escalate, right? And I believe this was just another test, and we'll see if we can dive into a little bit of some of the coverage here from a few of these creators. First one being Artur Rehi. Let's see here. Yeah, it was right here. Artur Rehi kind of giving his 2 cents on the whole matter. So what do you say we dive into just a little bit of what he had to say, and then I'll get you guys out of here so you can go check out Jeff Waldorf, who, again, let me remind you, will be on Blunt Politics this evening. So you get a double dose of not only me, but also Jeff, as I will be talking and speaking with Jeff tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 here on the West Coast. So don't miss out on that. I'm very excited to have a chat with him, finally get him on the show. He's like trying to get a hold of the president, for Christ's sakes. Huh? Like trying to get a meeting with the president, that guy. So popular. All right, let me see if we can dive into what Artur has to say here. Again, credit to Artur Rehi. He is an former Estonian military member, has been doing exceptional work on this conflict, on this war, since I can remember. So thank you to Artur for covering this, and thank you for allowing me to use a few seconds of your clip here to inform the public, inform the chat here. Let's go.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and 10 to 20 Russian Shahed drones flew into Poland tonight, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. in that time span. Poland scrambled their air force and they shot down a few of the drones, and one of them struck a target inside Poland. This is a breach of NATO airspace and a direct attack, weaponized attack, directed attack. It's not a mistake.
No, right. I mean, 1 or 2, right? You could almost be willing to classify as a mistake. Maybe even up to, let's say, 5, depending on what their, flight path was and what happened. But 19, 20, that's not a fucking mistake. That is a calculated risk taken by the Russian military to, again, provoke some sort of reaction that will both allow them to see and test not only the reaction of Poland, but the NATO forces. Not only does this now force NATO, like we were discussing earlier, as I should probably tell you now, the difference between Article 4 and Article 5. So Article 5 is the big one, right? Article 4 is basically just saying, in layman's terms, to kind of put it into short, is just basically we're going to have a meeting. Right, is basically we need to fucking meet. We need to have the NATO leaders come together, have some sort of meeting to talk about this, to talk about where we're going to go, to talk about how we're going to defend against this in the future. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, that's basically what Article 4 says. Article 5 is, okay, we're all in this shit together, fucking lock and load, let's fucking go, boots on the ground, hoorah type of shit. All right, so it's not Article 5, but again, Poland has invoked Article 4, which is going to bring about a meeting from the NATO leaders, which, again, this will be a hot topic of debate on how they will treat this going forward. But again, this is something that Russia loves to do. They love to stir the pot. They love to, create instances in where NATO has to get together in hopes that NATO will not always see eye to eye, knowing the difference in cultures, knowing the wide-ranging, the spread of people that are involved in NATO and how it's difficult to get those nations all the time to see eye to eye on everything. Russia plays upon that and preys upon that and uses that slight weakness, right, to their advantage in order to create dissension. If they can somehow Now if NATO gets together and not everybody agrees on how they should combat this in the future, say if, one of the closer Russian allies in NATO were to disagree or create some dissension or vote against this or that, then that creates a discussion on whether NATO is really, a force that is joined and together that is one, right? So if you can get people talking about, is NATO, really together and are they on the same fucking page here? Then it takes the focus off of Russia. But they love creating these instances of not only getting to see how Poland and NATO would react so they can get the intelligence on that, but also seeing what shit they can stir up. That's how they play the game. That's the tactics that they use, right? Is trying to stir shit up any way they possibly can, knowing that they don't have the upper hand financially, knowing that they don't have the upper hand financially, militarily over NATO, right? They have to use other tactics.
Poland is now considering evoking Article 4, not 5,
and
but
this,
4.
Just to show you, was the statement. Let me see if I can put this on the screen for you. This was the FAA statement put out, and you can see here, this was regarding the Lublin airport, but this was the same statement put out to all of the airports that were closed yesterday. It says, Lublin not available due to unplanned military activity related to ensuring state security. Right? And again, if you were to go back on the flight radar, you can see the military aircraft circling the airports. Again, you can see the flight pattern here of the drones here on the left side of your screen, which again entered Polish airspace, entered NATO airspace. Clearly, it would be very difficult unless you could single them out to figure out exactly where they trace back to. But within reason, you could probably get a pretty clear picture of where they were launched from too. And then, the other picture there gives you a better, a more zoomed in look at the area in which the drones and missiles crossed over, right? And here being the border, obviously several times in which a multitude of Shaheds crossed over into their border and territory, again, putting civilian aircraft in jeopardy, again, forcing a response from the Polish military, which is costly. Again, we know, what Russia is trying to do. Unfortunately, I am running out of time here, but let me see if I can just, is there anything I can finish out on here? We might as well do a couple more minutes of this, and I'll catch you over. I'll kick you over to Jeff in his fine broadcast over there. Right, and I remind you guys, everybody's like, oh, this is kind of crazy, right? Like, this isn't the first time. Like, this isn't even the worst instance that we've seen. Like, if you see on the screen here highlighted, I have already gone back and found an instance from 15 November 2022 in which two, or I don't know how many missiles it was, in which Russian missiles struck inside the Polish border village of, excuse me if I am going to mispronounce this, Przewidzew in Lublin, Voivodeship on 15 November 2022 and killed 2 Polish civilians. Right? So this isn't even, we're talking about in 2022 already instances of Russian missiles crossing into Polish airspace, crossing into NATO airspace, and killing people. So don't be fooled and like, oh, this is the first time. I've actually seen a few reports of reporters being, oh, this is the first time that this. No, it's not. No, it is fucking not the first time that this has happened. Right? And again, this just goes to show how not in control Donald Trump is of any situation he claims to be in control of. He is not in control of the Epstein situation. He is not in control of Israel's a genocidal run that they're on. He is not in control of Vladimir Putin. He is not in control over anything. He's not in control of the U.S. economy. He's not in control of ICE. He's not in control of the National Guard. Unfortunately, it's the sycophantic, moronic assholes around him that seemingly are pulling the strings, depending on what Donald Trump says in back rooms, which is eerily similar to the way that Hitler operated his government, right? It was just a mess of bureaucracy. There was no cohesion. If Hitler was taken out of the picture, it would have been just a mumbled, jumbled mess of chaos where no branch was actively working together with another. They were all fighting and vying for the Fuhrer's attention, actively trying to interpret what the Fuhrer was saying behind the scenes and then carrying out those acts like we saw Pete Hegseth do when he took it upon himself to actively stop the weapon shipments going to Ukraine that were already slated by the Biden administration to go to Ukraine. Because he hears the way that Donald Trump talks about Ukraine and how flattering and flattered by Vladimir Putin he is, right? But I appreciate you guys. I'm going to kick it over to Jeff Waldorf now over on this space. Make sure you guys are checking it out. Hit that like button. I appreciate you, Jeff. I'll see you this evening. I'll kick it over to you now. And if you're here on Blunt Politics, make sure you stick around so I can, highlight and congratulate and thank everybody that contributed to the show. But thank you to Matt and everybody on this space. Thank you to the mods over there. I appreciate you guys. Jeff, kick ass, my brother. And I will see you tonight. Appreciate you guys. All right. Now, if you are sticking with me here on the Blunt Politics side of things, I'm going to get into thanking everybody for their kind and generous contributions. Let me go over to the old Venmo machine here and see if anybody contributed through the old Venmo action. Where is it? There it is, right there. Just take a picture. It's real quick. Let me just see. No Venmos today. That's okay. Can't expect it every day. I'll just thank everybody that contributed again yesterday. So Thomas, JD, Chuck, Teague, JD again, Linda, and Michael. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again. Let me see here if anybody contributed over on YouTube. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is and how annoying it is that I have to continuously, self-promote and talk about this shit. I hate doing it, but if I don't do it, then I don't survive on this, in this media sphere, in this media space. So please bear with me as I try to, again, show you and implore the importance of, supporting independent media creators like myself. If you do find the information being, valuable, entertaining, informational, that type of stuff, please consider doing it because, again, I'd hate to fall into a situation where it's not financially viable to do this anymore, and then you just don't see me. Again, because I'm face first in a toilet somewhere. So let's get into thanking some people that continuously make this happen on a daily basis, like Nordez. Thank you so much again for your kind and generous contributions every single show. Thank you so much for making sure that an additional 5 people now have access to a membership. It really means a lot, and it goes a long, long way. And hopefully, I'm not running everybody ragged and bleeding everybody dry here. That's why we want to continue to reach out to a broader audience, continue to have this show sent out to your friends and family members, coworkers, so we can continuously get more people inside of the family, inside of the chat, so we can, spread the burden amongst more people. So it's not on everybody's, it's not on a few people's shoulders alone. So thank you, Nordez. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Peter, for the huge 50. I mean, that is just fucking enormous. Thank you so much, Peter, for that. I really do appreciate you, brother. I appreciate not only your contributions to this channel, but your contributions to other channels here in the YouTube community and elsewhere. It goes a long, long way to making sure that these stations stay up and running and that we get to continuously give you our opinions and share the news as we see it necessary to do so. Thank you, Jeff, for being here for a year. We had Kennedy's Camelot to MAGA Spews. Right? Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being here for a year. Congratulations, my dude. It's a big milestone. I really, really not only recognize but also appreciate the fact that you've been here for a year. Let me see here. JD with the as usual profanity bonus as I need and rely upon every single show. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Betsy. I appreciate you for being here for 18 months. Let's fucking go. That's got to be one of the longest. Got to be one of the longest. I don't even know if I've been doing it longer than that. And then to wrap it up, thank you, Susan. We need to organize a Million Women March to demand the release of all 300 GB of the Epstein files. Biggest cover-up in history. Stand with the survivors. I am 100% with you, Susan. You name the time, the place, and the date, and I'll make sure that I will promote that to infinity, right? So I will let you guys go. Make sure that you're checking out all the great shows that are on throughout the rest of the day. And I will see you tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 here on the West Coast for our nightly episode of Blunt Politics. I hope to see you there. Hit the notification bell. That way it sends you an alert in case you forget that we're on later tonight. Hit that like on the way out. Please subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. We got to hit 14 first, but, you know, people got to have goals, right? People got to have goals. So please, I know you guys do a lot. You guys are here all the time. Make sure that you share the show out so, again, we can continue to grow the audience and spread the burden that is supporting independent media. So, again, I'll see you later. I appreciate it. Go check out this space. Go check out some of the other fabulous creators that are putting out some fabulous content. And I will see you later, all right? Appreciate you guys. Keep kicking ass. And I'll see you tonight for another episode of Blunt Politics. All right? Peace. Thank you, mods. Oh, thank you, Carol. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. See you tonight, guys. Hit that like on the way out, please.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off, they're too bright, turn them off! Venezuela? Did you just see Maduro? Venezuela, it's unbelievable. I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America, and I'm not going to be like yuppies come and deny the threat to my country.
Well,
I'm going to fight back.
Come back and say thank you, Benny Loco, for being here for 13 months, and thank you so much to Carol for your kind contribution. I totally meant to come back again, and this was not by mistake at all. And I will definitely see you guys later tonight. Again, I promise. Bye. Thank you, DP. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.